Hello everyone, my name is Havian and today I'm going to be showing you Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 to help you decide if this is a game that you should play. Now I should start this off by saying that I haven't actually been interested in fighting games since Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and I haven't actually been really into a Naruto game since the GameCube ones. But the last Naruto game that I actually did play was Storm 2. I just wasn't really into it. So I am coming at this game with a fresh perspective. One of the first things that did stand out to me was the ridiculously huge character roster. Even though some of the characters were the same, the roster is still pretty big. It goes back all the way to the start of Naruto, and the game even goes further than the anime has. But as someone that hasn't been playing the game for a while, I did find the controls easy to understand. They are fairly simple, but I will say that mastering them and knowing which skills to use at the right time is going to take a while to grasp. In terms of what you can do, you can use basic combos, you can use throwing shurikens, you can guard, you can jump, you can evade, you can use team assists, and you can use chakra. They're going to be the basic things that you use during combat, and on their own they're actually pretty easy to execute. But what I did find interesting about the combat system was how all of these basic actions could influence each other. One example is the use of chakra. On its own, the chakra button doesn't do much. It has a few functions, but on its own it doesn't really do much apart from charge up your chakra. But when it's used in combination with a few other actions, it can alter them in some interesting ways. Like using it in combination with your combo button will activate ninjutsu attacks. Or using it in combination with the jump button allows you to use high speed dashes or even cancel animations out. But as simple as the button inputs are, it's all going to come down to knowing when you should attack and when you should defend, or when you should use any action for any given situation. During gameplay, you're going to have a few resources at your disposal. The most essential resource you're going to have is going to be your HP. Once your HP is gone, then you're dead. And your whole team is going to share the same HP pool. So just because you can actually have up to 3 team members, it doesn't mean each individual member is going to have their own HP. You can switch them in and you don't have to worry about taking them out when their HP gets low, because if their HP gets low, then your whole team's HP is low. Another resource is the Storm Gauge. This fills up when you're using support moves, or if you're using moves that consume chakra. When it's maxed out, you can use your secret technique, which is one of your more powerful attacks. And when it is over 50% full, you can use support actions. Now support actions are going to be actions that your team members will be able to use to help you in combat. Each character has a support action, and there are multiple kinds of support actions that can be used during combat. These can range from characters guarding you while you're recharging your chakra, or even some of your other team members taking a hit for you rather than you taking the blow. If you are playing on a console, you can use one of the shoulder buttons to call in one of your other teammates that assist you in combat. Or if you tap the right stick, left or right, you can actually switch with them, even mid-combo. And another function that is pretty situational is going to be Awakening. You can use this when your HP gets really low and you can hold down the chakra button. This will transform you into a more powerful version of the character, and this will give you a chance to try and make a comeback. You'll also be able to make use of some of your ninja tools to give you an edge in the battles. Some of these tools will allow you to break an enemy's guard, enhance your stats, or even inflict stats effects on the enemies. And all of these basic gameplay mechanics will be used to get you through the various different modes you have inside of the game. Some of these modes are going to be more single player focused, while the others are going to be local multiplayer or online multiplayer focused. In terms of the single player modes, we have story mode. The story mode is pretty much going to follow the final arc of Naruto. So you are going to be expected to know who the characters are and know what the storyline is up until that point. But if you are up to that point in the storyline, the game does a good job of filling you in with the rest. The story mode is a hybrid of action game and fighting game, with animation and interactive anime style gameplay that CyberConnect is known for these days. If any of you have played Asura's Wrath, then you will know what to expect with the story mode. You'll have sections that are heavy in action, you'll have other sections that are heavy in story, and then you have sections that are really over the top QuickTime events. Now these events, for the most part, the button inputs are pretty simple. When the button flashes on the screen, you push the button before it disappears. But there are some scenes where you have to push the button input with the right timing, or push a string of multiple different button commands. Now in terms of success and failure, I did fail a few of the button commands on purpose just to see what happened. It didn't seem like anything negative happened, it just seemed like the story continued moving on. But if you are successful with enough inputs, you will be treated to a bonus scene. The story is going to have branching paths with various different battle types you can take part in during the storyline. One path is going to follow Naruto and the other path is going to follow Sasuke. And at times these paths are going to cross. There are various different types of battles that are going to take place during the storyline as well. You'll have mob battles, where you'll have to fight large groups of enemies in a kind of brawler or Dynasty Warrior style game. Sometimes in the mob battles the game couldn't handle it and there was a little bit of slowdown, but it wasn't really enough slowdown to hurt the enjoyment. Another type of battle will be the boss battles. These are going to be some of the more unique fights that you probably won't find anywhere else in the game. And it's in these boss battles that we actually get to see CyberConnect at its best. This is where you actually get to see some of the most over-the-top nonsense in this game. But for the most part, I reckon a lot of people are going to enjoy that. And in terms of gameplay, there's a huge variety in terms of the boss battles. Sometimes there'll be two large enemies brawling, and at other times you'll be shooting lasers all over the place. Free battles are going to be your standard 1v1 or team versus team battles. Those are going to be the majority of the battles you'll take part in during the storyline. And those are going to be the types of battles you'll be used to seeing throughout the whole game. Then we have dramatic battles. Those are going to be a mix of free battles and interactive actions. You will have your free battles, but during the free battle, there'll be times where interactive actions will take place. And these do make for some of the more enjoyable battles that are in the story mode. Throughout the story mode, you are going to be playing as various different characters, but the basic button inputs are going to be the same across all of the different characters. So even though you are going to be forced to play as someone else you're not familiar with, you'll still be able to grasp them pretty quickly. During the story mode, you will get scenes that were taken directly from the anime, but disappointingly, those scenes are just going to be still images, maybe for licensing reasons, but more of the dramatic scenes are going to be done using the in-game character models. And it seems the anime scenes are going to be, for the most part, the first half of the storyline, because the second half of the storyline does go a lot further than where the anime actually is. So as the story goes on, you tend to see a lot less of the scenes they've taken from the anime, and some of these scenes can go on for a very long time. So just expect to be sitting there for a while for some of these sections. And if you are a fan of Naruto, you are going to enjoy a lot of these scenes. I'll say that some of these scenes rival what they actually do in the anime, and some of them go on for longer than an episode of an anime actually would. I think the longest one section of the story went on for was roughly around 45 minutes. So overall with the storyline, be prepared to spend more time watching the story than actually playing the story. But with that being said, the story mode is great. I actually have no complaints about the story mode at all. But I guess the downside of it, now that I've actually seen it, I don't really have any incentive to go back and play through it again. The missions themselves are repeatable, and people that want to go back and watch their favorite scenes can do that if they want to. And I guess for completionists out there, you can go back and get an S rank in all of the missions. I haven't watched the anime in roughly a year, maybe more than a year. Main reason for that is because the previous year I skipped a year of Naruto. I got back into watching the show. I probably saw about 10 episodes and then it was onto fillers again. So I thought, you know what, let me just stop watching the show until it gets to the end. But in terms of what I'd already seen, that was all covered within the first chapter of the game. And from then on, everything that was presented to me was brand new, and it showed me the rest of the story right up until the end in a really easy to understand and engaging way. But what can you do after you finish the storyline? Well, single player has another mode that takes place after story mode, and this is going to be adventure mode. This mode functions almost like a Naruto RPG. This mode will follow its own storyline, and in this mode you'll be going around the world completing quests and missions for people. You'll be able to visit the different locations they have throughout the Naruto world, and it seems like you have a lot of freedom to do that very early on in the adventure mode storyline. But in these different locations you'll find people that are going to want you to do requests for them. You can speak to them, sometimes you'll have to battle them on the spot, sometimes you just have to give them items, or sometimes you'll have to listen to the townspeople's requests. Once you completed their quests, then they'll give you a reward, and those rewards can either be money or materials that can be used for other things later in the game. Adventure mode does offer a little bit of customization, but that's going to be mainly down to the tools you can equip and bring into combat with you. As you're traveling around the world, you'll come across memory fragments that will allow you to experience battles from Naruto's past. And these are going to be battles done with all sorts of characters and not just Naruto. Memory fragments become available as you're progressing through the adventure mode storyline, and you'll find some in different locations within the world. I guess adventure mode is just an extra way for you to keep enjoying the game solo, even after you finish the main storyline. But I have to say, some of their environments are jarring to look at because it seems like they're using assets from some of their older games. You have some places that you go to that will be fully 3D modeled, and you go to other areas where the environments are painted with 3D character models. I mean, the artwork does look nice, don't get me wrong, but I would have rather they just stuck to one, rather than having some fully 3D areas and then having some painted areas. It just feels a little bit like the adventure mode was tacked on. because the polish and the gameplay experience you get from adventure mode in comparison to story mode is just miles apart. And it is a little bit of a letdown jumping into adventure mode after you've played through such an over-the-top and enjoyable story mode. But I reckon generally when people are going to be done with story modes, they're going to be jumping straight into the multiplayer modes. The game's got both online multiplayer and it's got offline local multiplayer, with some of the modes being exclusive to online play. Online multiplayer will have daily login bonuses, so each time you log in, you will get a reward. Limited time events will take place from time to time, but because none of these events are going to take place until after this review, I couldn't tell you exactly what is going to be within those events. When playing online, or even when playing in some of your local multiplayer matches, you will have a chance to customize your characters. You can save up to 3 different customizations per character, and you're able to create preset teams. On top of characters being customizable, your info cards will be customizable as well. These info cards are going to hold your basic stats for your online career. And you'll be able to get these customizations from General Store Bandai. Now inside of this store, you'll be able to use your money that you've collected after winning fights in story mode or any of the other gameplay modes, or by using the materials you've gathered through adventure mode, story mode, or some of the other gameplay modes as well. These can be traded for ninja info card pictures, for different skins, for titles, new substitution items, finish cut-ins, and for matching voices. With your money, you will be able to buy the basic customizations, but you will need to use the materials for some of the rarer customizations and costumes. Another online feature is going to be the bingo book. This is almost like a wanted list of different opponents you'll need to fight during the day online. Every day these characters will rotate, but if you do fight them online, you will be rewarded. And you do seem to get extra rewards based on the amount of targets you've actually fought. Now in terms of the different modes that are available in multiplayer, you have ranked matches, which are going to be online leaderboard style matches. Then you have player match or versus mode. Those are going to be 1 versus 1 battles with customizable settings. And then we have league, which is going to be up to 4 players fighting in a round robin style tournament. Then we have tournament mode, which is going to be a standard tournament mode for up to 8 players. And another mode is going to be endless battle. Endless battle is essentially winner stays on. If a player wins, they keep playing, and if someone loses, they get in line and wait their turn. Now my experience with the multiplayer modes has been mixed. While it is fun, there's a good chance you're going to be matched up with people that have much more experience than you and are much higher rank. I've not played fighting games for roughly around 3 or 4 years. I thought, you know what, let's see, let me jump into a ranked match. Nothing bad will happen. And then in the first match I play, I get matched up with some high level player. And then it was after that I learned that ranked match is not a place you go in just to mess around in. I learned quickly. But win or lose, playing against high ranked people was still interesting and it was fun. And it did allow me to learn what moves I should be using to counter certain other attacks. And when it came to actually trying to play in other online modes, the game would crash often, or it would take forever to actually do some matchmaking. This may be due to the fact that the game is not available throughout the world yet, and that may be something that will be fixed when the game is available everywhere. But as of right now, it was a little bit shaky, and the crashing did happen quite often. But that may be something they can patch in to actually fix, because when the online multiplayer is working, it is fun. I did go into this game having 0 expectations. I haven't been into any of the Naruto games since the GameCube ones. I played Storm 2, but wasn't really into it. But I have to say, this game impressed me a lot. The Naruto games have come far. This is much better than I expected it would be. But I would say that this game is strictly for Naruto fans. It does have a ton of history, and people that are not fans of Naruto, if they're coming in for the first time, they won't understand a lot of what is going on. But with that being said, if you do like the way this game actually looks, and you don't really care about the Naruto storyline and you just want to play this for the gameplay, then I reckon the game would still be enjoyable. I think this is a game that is for Naruto fans, and for people that are familiar with action games, but were looking for one that has the ability for competitive play. Or for people that are looking for a fighting game that will be easy to ease themselves into, that's not going to be as complex as some of the traditional 2D fighters. This game will be very easy to get into, but it's still going to take as much time to master as you would with any other fighting game. One thing that is worth pointing out is this game does have dual audio. So if you are a fan of the Japanese voices or the English voices, those are both available to you. Apart from the game crashing a few times, I did enjoy what I played. And as someone returning to the game after a long time away, I really couldn't find a huge deal that I didn't like about it. So this game is Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4. I will be doing reviews for plenty of other games really soon. So if you want to see more videos of those games and this game, then please subscribe. And if you do know anyone that is interested in action games or RPGs, then send my channel over to them, let them know that is what I do. I'll be making some more videos really soon, but until I make those videos, I'll see you all later.